Hey, welcome back to day 4 of the Rich Life. I think you're going to find that day 4 you really start to see how we can get ourselves out of debt and get ourselves out of debt very, very quickly and start to build wealth and to truly live a rich life. But before we go into that, let's kind of review where we've been. So day 1, we talked about having you remind yourself or to remember or to put to memory Matthew 25:29, and it is those that do well with what they're given will be given even more. And I want you to continue to bring that into your financial life whenever you're about to spend money or whenever you're about to just pay bills, quite frankly. You can say a little prayer over it and let God know that you're trying to do well with what you have. And then on day 2, we talked about the debt myth or the debt factor fiction. And I asked you to sit down with your partner or just sit down with yourself and write down all those other myths that society has kind of laid out for us of why we should be in debt. And quite frankly, why most of America is in debt. And really start to differentiate. Is this fact or is this fiction? Because quite frankly, cash is king at the end of the day. So I want you to really wrap around, hey, all these advertisings and the marketing efforts to get you to either get a new credit card or no money down, those kind of things. You really start to second guess those types of offers that come your way. And then the next thing I asked you to do was get an accountability partner, not your spouse, somebody else outside of the team, and let somebody know that you're about to go on this journey of living a rich life and would love to have their help to help you get through some difficult times that are ahead. It's going to be that way. I just want to continue to remind you that. But there's going to be some great times too. And then once you start to see the effects of the debt snowball, you're going to start feeling like, hey, I've got control of this and I can do this. So get that accountability partner. And who knows, they may be in debt. They see you start to have success, and now you've got your own ministry going on. You can help them get out of debt as well. So day 3, we really started to talk about how we make sure we know where we are. So we talked about trying the cash envelope system, where you budget out exactly what you're going to spend for the month on items by category, and you actually physically put cash money inside of an envelope, and whenever you go to buy, say, groceries in this case, you spend what you have budgeted, and once you are through that cash, it's no more, it's done. So this is all about changing behavior. So it's a great way to really jolt the system, if you will. And we can talk more, or we can find each other, or you can ask questions. But my wife and I become more sophisticated in the cash envelope system by breaking out our checking accounts to different categories, quite frankly. So we put the money electronically in there. But something about just feeling the cash and paying for it really makes you understand, hey, I'm spending my money on this item, rather than running the plastic credit card through the scanner to pay that. So, and then finally we got to let's build a budget. And you want to sit down with your spouse if you're married, or with yourself. But definitely, if you have a spouse, it's a team effort. It's got to be a family effort. And if you're single, you've got to have an accountability partner for sure, to make sure that you follow through with the journey that you are headed on. So so we built a budget, and now we know where we are. So now we're to day 4. And I call this the E-Fund and how to build a snowball, the debt snowball effect. And I think you're really going to start to enjoy what we're about to go under. So what you need to remember is the most powerful wealth building tool that you have is your income. You have to get control and full use of your income to build and keep wealth. The bottom line is, it's easy to become wealthy if you don't have any payments. Again, just getting your head wrapped around not having any payments. You are a slave to no one, and you own everything that you have, and you're paying cash for anything that you want. That just inspires me to continue to travel down our journey. So if the average American family with a $50,000 annual income were able to put $1,995 away into a mutual fund instead of paying to the creditors, they would be millionaires in 15 years. And in 5 more years, they would have $2 million. And then they would have $3 million in 3 more years. And then $4 million in 2.5 years, and $5.5 million in 2 more years. So they would have had $5.5 million after 28 years. It's all about focus. The power of focus is what causes these steps that we're about to talk about to work. So when you try to do everything at once, progress can be very slow. And when you put 3% in a 401k, $50 extra on a house payment, $5 extra on a credit card, you start to dilute your efforts because you attack several areas at once and you don't finish anything you start for a long, long time. That makes you feel like that you aren't accomplishing anything. So the power of focus is the way to make sure that you're successful to gaining a rich life. Things happen. You start to check stuff off your list. Life gives you a good old attaboy in the form of an actual visible progress that's going on in your life. So with focus, the power of priority also causes these steps to work. Each of these steps is part of a proven plan to financial fitness. They build on one another. So therefore, if done out of order, they don't work. So make sure you do them in order. So to start the steps, we'll work on one important step to the exclusion of all the others. And we have to have patience. Focus exclusively on the step. Even though it seems, to be a temporary detriment to other areas of your financial fitness. It's okay. The dreaded B word that you developed in the last module, your budget, enters into the picture here. You must set up a budget, a written budget, every month. Write it down. One more time for effect, write your budget down. This is you taking charge of your money. You have to tell your money what to do or it leaves. A written budget for the month is your money goal. People who win at anything have written goals. In fact, Zig Ziglar says, if you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. Money won't behave unless you tame it, remember? And you wouldn't build a house without a blueprint, so why do you spend your lifetime income of over $2 million without a blueprint? So that's what we're building here. Even Jesus said, which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish it or not? And that's in Luke 14:28. So Jesus is even telling us to set up a plan and make sure that we have a goal with the end in mind and we follow that goal. So set up a new budget every month. Spend every dollar on paper before the month begins. That's called zero-based budgeting. Income minus outgo equals 0 every month. So you know what every dollar is going out of your family revenue. Look at this month's income and this month's bills, savings, debts, and match them up. Tell your money what to do. Agree on it. This is important. If you're married, agree on the budget with your spouse. This one sentence is a whole sermon, a whole series of sermons in and of itself. But the bottom line is this. If you aren't working together, it's almost impossible to win. So make sure that you and your wife, or you and your spouse are together on this journey. So the paper is the boss, the money, and you are the boss of what goes on that paper. But you have to stick to the budget. Remember I talked about that last 10% about actually doing it? So just do it. So step one, first thing we need to do here is the E-Fund. Save $1,000 cash as a starter emergency fund. Life happens, so be ready. You need an emergency fund. Now obviously $1,000 isn't going to catch all these big things, but it will catch a lot of the little ones until the emergency fund is fully funded. So this emergency fund is not for buying things or a vacation, it's for emergencies and emergencies only. No cheating. Most of America uses credit cards to catch all of life's emergencies. A well-planned budget for anticipated things and an emergency fund are truly, they truly allow you to have independence from your credit cards. So the first major step is to begin the emergency fund. A small start is to save $1,000. And you want to get there as fast as you can. And as soon as you get it, put it in a savings account. And you want to make it so it takes a little more effort than just sliding a credit card through to go get at that E-Fund. That way you don't use it for an impulse buy. So what if you're at step 2 and you spend $300 from your emergency fund to fix, the alternator? If this happens, stop step 2 and go back to step 1. And until you have your emergency fund built up again, and once it's funded, return to step 2. So, step 2, start the debt snowball. This is exciting. The way we pay off debt is called the debt snowball. The debt snowball is a process, and is an easy process to understand, but will require truckloads of effort. I mean, sometimes Herculean effort, and that's why it's always good to make sure that this journey is not you and you alone. It's with your spouse if you have one, it's with your family, but more importantly, it's with Jesus to help you maintain the effort that you need to make this happen. The debt snowball method requires you to list all your debts in order of the smallest payoff balance to the largest. List all your debts except for your home. And it doesn't matter what interest rates those debts are. Make it smallest to largest. After you list the debts, smallest to largest, pay the minimum payment to stay current on all the debts except for the smallest. Every dollar you can find from anywhere in your budget goes towards the smallest debt until it's paid. And then once the smallest is paid, that payment on that debt plus the extra money you have is added to the next smallest debt. So when I say find any money, I bet if you go inside your garage, you have at least $1,000 worth of stuff that you could sell that you just don't use anymore, that you could give to somebody else who would actually use it. I know we found it very easy. So getting the E-Fund and starting the debt snowball from smallest to largest was a very easy process for us, but we made a decision that we were going to attack this thing, and we did. So then when debt number 2 is paid off, you take the money that you used to pay the number 1 and the 2 and you pay it plus any extra money and apply it all to number 3. Keep paying minimums on all except the smallest of the debts, the one you're attacking. Each time you pay one off, the amount you pay on the next one increases. That's the snowball. Attack. Every time the debt snowball rolls over, it gains momentum and gets larger. And by the time you get to the bottom, you have an avalanche. So I just want to reiterate, try this. It works. And it works not only financially, obviously, but from a mental standpoint. You start to see that debt go down, further. And then when you start adding the money that you paid off the smallest to the next one, it just starts to snowball, and you really start to feel good that, yep, I'm now in control of my money. So that is step 2. Use the debt snowball to become debt-free except for your home. So how do you get the snowball rolling? Some people have trouble getting debt or getting the debt snowball rolling. And like I said, just go in the garage. Do whatever it takes to get the snowball rolling. And that could be you making sure that the minimums are paid and you have everything that you need for necessities, and making sure that you have nothing left to pay extra on that smallest debt. So you either sell something, have a garage sale, sell so much that the kids are afraid they'll be next. Might not be some, but sell things that make your broke friends question your sanity. If your budget is stopped up and your debt snowball won't roll on its own, you have to get it rolling somehow. A good rule on things to get rid of is if you can't be debt-free on that item or items, obviously except the house, in 18 to 20 months, sell it. If you have a car or boat that you can't pay off in that amount of time, sell it. Get debt-free now so that later you can drive anything that you want and pay cash for it. When it comes to that debt-ridden item, you may have to make decisions to live like no one else. But remember, later you'll be living like no one else. So you really got to take some drastic, and not drastic action, but some large steps. So do anything, every opportunity that comes your way to start to pay down debt. And if you're not using something, put it up on eBay or sell it through Craigslist, or just put it out in the local garage sales. One, get rid of it. Now you're built. Now you got space. But 2, somebody else could use that item, and you get the benefit of having more money to pay off debt. So what about saving for retirement while the snowball's rolling? So this could be a little contentious, but remember, we're going to do everything in our power to become debt-free very quickly. So what's recommended is you stop your retirement plan contributions, even if your company matches them. The power of focus and quick wins is more important in the long term. Once you're debt-free, get back to saving for retirement as quickly as you can. So don't make any more contributions to your savings account, excuse me, and pay off debt. So just a reminder, if you have to use some of your emergency fund, stop the debt snowball and replenish the emergency fund first. Once it's back, start the snowball rolling again. Follow that budget and utilize the debt snowball principle, and you'll arrive at step 3 in about 18 to 20 months on average. When you reach this step, you have $1,000 cash and no debt except your home mortgage. Think about how that is going to feel. Can you even wrap your head around that? That would be incredible. So step 3, finish the emergency fund. So a fully funded emergency fund covers 3 to 6 months of expenses. What would it take you to live for that long if you lost your income? This has been a common tool for financial planners for years. A fully funded emergency fund will usually range between $5,000 to $25,000. Again, put this in a savings account or even a money market account. And beware not to rationalize and put all your hard work at jeopardy. Spend the E-Fund on emergencies only. The mission statement for your emergency fund is to protect you against the storms, give you peace of mind, and keep the next problem from becoming debt. If you don't own a home, don't buy a home until you finish this 3rd step. Saving for a down payment should come after becoming debt-free and finishing your emergency fund in step 3. And just think about it. If you don't have any payments and you want a home, now you have all the cash that you bring in, your personal wealth that you can save and quickly get to a down payment that you want. So, your assignment, follow steps 1 through 3 in order, and don't move to the next step until you have completed the first step. So make sure that it gets done properly. So that's it. That's steps 1 through 3. We'll meet again tomorrow, and we're going to talk about 4 through 7, where we really start to create wealth and truly, begin to live a rich life. Many blessings to you, and I'll see you on the next video.